I'm Taino from my mother's side, and the Tainos are from the Caribbean. We come from the islands in the Caribbean area. My family's from Puerto Rico, which is now known as Puerto Rico, but back then, or the indigenous people even today, we call it Borinquen. And you've maybe heard the term Boricua. Boricua is like an indigenous term. It means that the indigenous people from Borinquen, which is now known as Puerto Rico. And so the indigenous culture there, we lost a lot of our ways, but because of some of the history books and some of the stories that we were able to hold on to, like with my grandfather and through my family and my older cousins remembering things that my grandfather would speak about, and then other tribal people putting together different bits of information through our dreams and just different things like that. When sometimes you run across someone like another Taino and they'd say, yeah, I dreamt that we did the ceremony like this. And then 2 or 3 other people would have the same dream. So we would be like, yeah, it has to be that way if different people are dreaming those things. So this is how we're putting together our culture. The first couple of songs are drum songs. These drums are called Mayoacans. They're log drums. Mayoacan in the Taino language is, it's like Ma'ohuacan. It's like big mountain breath center. It's what, like the literal translation. But the loose translation is the voices of the ancestors. So when we play these drums, it's like our ancestors coming forth and the sounds like that. So sometimes you could hear those sounds. So I'll go ahead and introduce these drums right now. The next song I have is called Miku. That song is Kasagua Baguaraguao. That's a call to red-tailed hawk. The red-tailed hawk is one of the sacred animals or the birds to the Taino. And so it comes to us from the east, when we see the red-tailed hawk, like when you're in Borinquen, or now known as Puerto Rico, and you're around Tainos and you see like a red-tailed hawk, everybody's like, woo, just going crazy. You think, it was like 4th of July. So it's like, like that passion for the culture, like you believe in that, like that spiritual cultivation through your culture. And that's how we connect with it, just through all these things in nature. This next song is called Miku. Miku is sacred water. Mi is water in Taino, in the Taino language. Some of us here speak the Taino language, so there's a lot of words because we were like the first nation of people that had that interruption. They didn't know what to call certain things, so they used the words for some of the stuff from the First Nations that they ran across. like hammock is a Taino word. We call it hamaka, and we use that every day. It's actually a Taino word. Also, hurricane, huracan, that's a Taino word. So we have like Taino words that are out in the English language. In the Spanish language from Puerto Rico, there's like 3,000 Taino words in that language. So our language is alive, our culture is still alive. This is Miku, sacred water. Sacred water is, to indigenous people and probably to all of people, we have to have our water, we need clean water. And so we have water protectors. If you haven't ever heard of the water protectors, those are the ones that like go in the trees and they're up there and they're holding it down, bringing awareness to desecration to our natural resources. Or the ones that are on the equipment, or they're at the bridges, those are the water protectors. So we honor them for their sacrifice in that, because they pay a lot of money to get out of jail and all that stuff, but they still do it over and over. So this is Miku, sacred water. Not yet. Yeah, that's the water song. Now I have a couple of vocal songs. Oh my God. I'm not really a singer, I'm more of a drummer, but to fill in my songs, I recorded my current CD at Mag Recording Studios. It's at Mag Recordings, just outside of Asheville. Michael Grosso, if you're ever going to record anything, he's got an incredible studio. I don't know, $50,000 studio or something. It's incredible. It's in his house. He closes the door, you don't hear anything. He's just an incredible technician and how he does everything. On Mag Recordings, he's really good. The song right here is called We Are Calling. And you know, in my culture and in the world, everywhere, I hear people say, like, there's nobody to even ask anymore. You know, you always feel like, you know, who could I tell? Like within a few hours. And I'm not really a songwriter, but I like to express myself in this way. So in the Taino culture, like other spiritual cultures, you know, we have like idols or spirits, guides. We have yukahu in my culture. It's like the fertility spirit. Put little statues of them in our gardens. We have them on our altars, in our homes. Yukahu. Assist the people in our endeavors. Atabe is Mother Earth. She holds it all together for us. Atabeda, Atabe. Maroya's Grandmother Moon. She sets that tone, that rhythm. Has that 28-day cycle. It's directly related to our women. Guatu is fire. It connects us to our ancestors. Yokahu, your people are calling you. Yokahu, we are praying with you. Atabe, your women are crying for you. Atabeda, us men are calling too. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. Our people are shouting for you. Maroya, you know it's true. Maroya, we have lost our rhythm too. Now I pray this song to you, Watu. We need your warmth and blessings too. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now I sing this song to all of you. What are you willing to do? Gather hands and embrace. Cultivate your sacred space. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's true, you know, we're always calling, man. We're like asking, it's the hard times. And so some people aren't really aware of like the indigenous women that come up missing. That's like a serious thing for the tribal people. You know, we have a lot of indigenous people. I worry about my cousins. You know, they go to Walmart and all of a sudden they're gone. Nobody knows where they're at. Thousands and thousands of indigenous women come up missing. Every year, just the number just keeps increasing. So it's just something to be aware of, you know, like when you're out in the parking lots and you see people walking by themselves, you know, we try to keep an eye out for each other, you know, like that. We see something suspicious going on, maybe hang out and watch. Try to protect each other like that, you know, because it's really happening, so we have to be careful with that. This next song is a song I learned in Borinquen. If you haven't been to Borinquen, Puerto Rico, it's just an incredible, incredible island. And my son and I, and also my cousins were there at one time with me, and my son and I, we went there to do a peace and dignity journey. And it was like 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks of like going around the island, going to these sacred ceremonial spots. And we would like run in with these sacred staffs that we had that were used all over this country with Indigenous people. They would hand it off the staff to the Taino, and then we did our journey like that. And so we traveled around, and I got the opportunity to stay connected with the Tainos from there. And so even with the language, you know, I don't speak Spanish extremely well. I was still able to pick up quite a bit, and so I learned the song from them. It comes from Esencia Tabanuco, who is like a medicine person in Puerto Rico. He's just an incredible, incredible man. And he was the group, they had this group of Tainos that would go around. So that's what this song is. It's like a ceremonial song. And again, it's Yukahu and Atabe, and it's thanking them for, you know, Bo Matum in the Taino language, Bo Matum is like, it's kind of like thank you, but it's like everything you do pleases me. It's like everything that you are and that you have done for me, just it makes me feel, it like pleases me. And so we say Bo Matum. It's actually like your great generosity, your generosity. And in our language, we always spoke very nice to each other. We didn't like, you know, there was no like verbal abuse. There's very little of that. And so we didn't have those things. And this ceremony, it's this song speaks of getting our ceremony back. And our ceremony is called Areto. It's our dances. Is this mic on? Just wanted to make sure.
Música de
is Dance Warrior Dance. This song is like a dance song. If we were like at the Areito, back then we had like these ceremonies that would bring people together, you know, and it would keep people from like mixing, like having incest within the tribe and those types of things. So we would have these dances like throughout all the islands, and we would go to those islands, and we had a certain way that we dressed, and so you knew people were single. You know, like men would wear like some type of grass skirts, and you knew that they were looking for a mate. And so that's what was like communication by how you dressed. And so you would go to these other islands and you would meet other mates, and so you weren't mixing with the bloodline too much. So that's how the native people, that's how we did it. We like made sure that those things didn't happen. We just didn't stay in one little village and, you know, do those types of things. This song is Dance Warrior Dance, and it's, you know, when our warriors come back from like fishing and hunting or from other islands and just gathering, we invite them back into the village with like song. And so that's what this one is, Dance Warrior Dance. If I can remember it. Thank you. So yeah, this next song, that was Dance Warrior Dance. This next song is Sacred Space. You know, holding a sacred space is important in Indigenous cultures. You know, not letting things in our lives, external things like knock us off of our feet, you know, sure-footed. And so sacred space, that's what this is about. It's about holding your sacred space. Thank you. And so you can hear throughout the song, it's a beautiful sound, really. You can hear throughout the song it gets like a little bit chaotic, and that's like that stuff trying to get in on you. And so like when we do ceremonies, sometimes we're like fasting for like 3 days and 3 nights. And you know, it gets hard, like it gets like emotional, mental, you know, you're trying to pray and trying to dance. And so we always like, hold your sacred space, bro. Hold your sacred space, hold your space like that. And we remind each other, hold your space, man. Hold your space. Don't let everything get all chaotic. Stay centered, like you know where you're at. So that's what this song is, holding your sacred space. Sometimes when I'm practicing at home, I put my drumsticks down somewhere and I come back to my drums, I have no clue where they're at. I spend like 20 minutes looking for my sticks. I'm like, where's my sticks? Use this style to call out to the guaraguao. Guaraguao is the red-tailed hawk, and I mentioned it earlier. It comes to us from the east, and so this is called an ocarina. And you can hear like the sound of the hawk or like the eagle within some of the sounds that this displays. Thank you. So this is a little bit bigger one. It was given to me by Taino sister, Anawatu. She lives in England. She came to visit one time a couple of years ago. She's from Curacao. Curacao is an island towards like South America, and there was also Tainos on there. Tainos were all the way from Cuba to Jamaica, all those islands through there. We were in all of those islands, and we migrated from South America. You might have heard of like the Arawak tribes. The Arawak tribes, there was like, tribes underneath it. It's like a heading for other tribes, and so we migrated from South America. What happened was it started to get overpopulated, and so the elders were like, you're out. And there was like, what are you talking about? Like, get in the canoes, go find another place to live, never come back. That's literally how it went. They were just like, get in the canoes and go find another land to populate. So a handful of us, I don't know how many there were, we traveled from that area, and then we went to the Caribbean islands. And so how we know that that's where we came from, you've heard of the yucca plant. The yucca plant is not indigenous to the Caribbean. It's not indigenous to Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic or any of those islands. It's indigenous to like South America in that area. And so we brought it with us because it grows so good, and we make so many things from yucca. When you make like cassave bread and you make that from yucca, that has a shelf life of like 60 years. It'll just sit there and never mold or anything. Yeah, it's an incredible food. So we brought it with us, and we use yucca for a lot of different things. And so this song over here, I can't remember how I got on the yucca thing, but this is a power of the semi. The semi, like inside of us, like 2 or 3 centimeters below our belly button, is like the sea of chi. And if like in yoga they have that, in Tai Chi. Well, in my culture also we call it the semi blanco, which is like the white semi, and it's like our life force, and it's the gatherer of our spiritual force and like our physical and our mental. It's like the internal semi, or that internal spirit. And so this is to remind us of that and how strong it actually is. Yeah. I have one more drum song, and that's it. I really appreciate everybody coming and supporting me this way. My family coming. My cousins showed up. I was like incredible. I wasn't sure. We were like having this conversation, on social media, and I was just listening to it, and I'm like, what are they doing having this conversation on my thread, man? Yeah. I was like, what are they crazy? I had no clue, and then like I thought about like, whoa, I think they're gonna come maybe. And so I just didn't know, but it was really cool. I'm really grateful, man. I love my cousins. They're great. My cousin Sandra, she's like my older cousin, and I was just like a little kid, and her and my sister and her sisters, my other cousins would come up and visit my family and stay for the summer, and I always felt like protected, you know, my older cousins were there, and so it's really good that they're here. It's great to have family around, of course. This next song I actually composed on these drums. The other songs I composed, you know, little by little on one drum, and then I try to like make it work with all the drums. This song I actually composed on these drums. It's the last song. I appreciate everybody coming again. And thank you to the Waynesville Yoga Center and Red Moon Herbs also, and everybody. Aubrey, my good friend Aubrey over here, he's an incredible musician. Yeah, he's coming out with a CD pretty soon. He's got like these incredible songs, man, you know, Down by the River Bend. He's got like this like velvet voice, and it's just incredible. When he comes out with it, hopefully he'll be over here doing something. Yeah, thanks, man.
What is the subject matter of this last piece?
The subject matter, it's called Log Drum Boogie. So it's just about like letting it go, enjoying the moment. And sometimes, you know, we have in my culture like this ceremony grounds, and we call it a guanada. And in the guanada, it translates to like a place apart. So it's like a place we go where everything else is separate. There's nothing there. And we go there for like prayer time and things like that. And so this song is a little bit reflective of that. It's just like the song, just enjoy it. And that's it. That's how I made it. I just like rang, and there it was. So here we go. Yeah, thanks for coming. I've got some CDs if anyone's interested. They're $20 a CD, and that's it. We're finished. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Where are you hailing from?
from Asheville. Thank you. I appreciate it. Social distancing. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, you do? Oh, cool. You should play me. Thanks, Aiden. I really appreciate it. Thanks, son. My son with the cameraman over here.